As this video is being made, the world stands on the edge of a dangerous escalation. Donald Trump may be about to give the green light for the US to bomb Iran, directly joining the war on Israel's side. And even if that doesn't happen, even if US forces don't drop a single bomb, American arms will still flow to Israel. Either scenario spells dire consequences for the Middle East and for American politics. Socialists don't support the repressive theocracy in Iran, nor do they back Israel's genocidal government. But rejecting both doesn't mean seeing them as equals. This is not a symmetrical war. The Israeli assault launched just days ago threatens to drag the entire region into a far bloodier conflict, and it must be condemned outright. Labour Party branches, trade union meetings, every progressive space in Britain should be demanding an end to the assault on Iran and demanding the UK steer clear, no direct or indirect role in this attack. And socialists must throw their support behind every protest, rally and lobby that calls for the same. Israel has picked this moment with cold calculation. Hezbollah in Lebanon, backed by Iran, has been weakened. Syria's Assad regime, another Iranian ally, has collapsed. Israeli forces with almost no opposition have decimated what's left of Syria's military infrastructure. But this isn't just about military timing. Israel is playing a sleight of hand, hoping to shift the world's focus away from Gaza, where the IDF is still murdering desperate, starving Palestinians trying to reach food. It's ethnic cleansing in real time. In the West Bank, pogroms against Arabs continue with full IDF support. And now the Israeli propaganda machine is going into overdrive. Every move against the Palestinians has been backed by US presidents, but none more fervently than Trump. Netanyahu knows the political moment and he's seizing it. But Israel has paid the price. Globally, it has never been more politically isolated than now. The veil has fallen. Workers and young people, even across the US, no longer see plucky little Israel defending itself. They see a brutal, militarized state launching an unrelenting barrage of violence across the region. Israel wants this war to widen. That's the strategy. They want to drag the US in because they can't destroy Iran's nuclear program alone. Their jets may control Tehran's skies, but they can't reach deep enough to hit the uranium enrichment plant in Fordow. It's buried half a mile inside a mountain. Only US bunker busting bombs can reach it. Oh, and then here comes the media chorus screaming about the danger of a nuclear Iran threatening Israel. But let's not forget, Israel already has nuclear weapons, lots of them. Some say the 5th largest arsenal in the world, and yet it's Iran that's painted as the threat. Iran isn't under attack because it's enriching uranium. Saudi Arabia is talking about a reactor too. No. Iran is being bombed because it has defied US control, because it armed Russia in Ukraine, because it supports proxy forces in Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, and because, unlike most Arab regimes, it has stood by the Palestinians, at least in words. And don't fall for the idea that conventional bombing is somehow more moral than nuclear war. Gaza has been flattened, over 2 million displaced, 60,000 dead. Is it more ethical because the bombs weren't nuclear? Of course not. If Iran has ever considered building a bomb and US intelligence before this assault didn't think so, it would be a response to decades of threats and hostility from Israel and the United States. This is about dominance, about punishing a nation that won't bend to the demands of the West. Israel is acting as the US's attack dog, and Europe's capitalist powers are fully on board with this. Israel always claims self-defense as it invades, bombs and occupies its neighbors. But this time, with Iran, Netanyahu might have overplayed his hand. Before 1979, Iran was a US neo-colony, its oil plundered by British and American companies. When Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh nationalized the industry in 1953, the CIA and MI6 staged a coup. The Shah was installed, and it was brutal, repressive, and backed by the hilt of the West, until the Iranian Revolution overthrew him. So what happened next? Well, the West turned to Saddam Hussein. He launched a war against Iran with Western support, 1 million lives lost. There's a long, blood-soaked history here, and no reason for the Iranian people to trust Western governments. There is a disparity in firepower, but Iranian missiles are still getting through, and socialists should not fall for the hypocritical outrage over Iran's regime. We support the right of Iranian workers to rise up and fight for a better future, but on their own terms. 3 years ago, hundreds were murdered in protests that followed the death of a woman in the custody of Iran's morality police. These protests, called Woman, Life, Freedom, shook the regime, but let's not forget, the same Western powers now demanding regime change had no problem with supporting the Shah when his secret police did the same thing. Netanyahu and Trump are open about their hopes for regime change. Israel's defense minister has said Ayatollah Khamenei cannot continue to exist. And so the strategy is to bomb Iran into revolt. But that could backfire. Instead of toppling the regime, Iranians might actually rally around it. The spiritual leader of Iraqi Shia Muslims, Grand Ayatollah al-Sistani, has already warned of disaster if Iran's top cleric is killed. And don't forget, the US has 900 troops stationed in Iraq. This could all be a PR maneuver by Netanyahu to distract from Gaza and win back Western favor by focusing on Iran, but he has no exit plan, no strategy, just an endless cycle of war, a forever war to cling to power in Jerusalem. And when the war ends, and it will, Israeli workers will have questions about the cost, about the lives lost, about the economic pain because no amount of US money can shield them from the consequences. And as Iranian missiles rain down despite Israel's air superiority and parts of Tel Aviv lie in ruins, Israeli workers will see clearly. Netanyahu's security is endless war, and the world, especially the Arab masses, have turned against Israel's genocidal project. The war's effects won't be limited to the Middle East. If Trump leads the US into another Middle Eastern conflict, the fallout could be worse than Iraq or Afghanistan. And if it drags on, with rising American casualties, it could seriously dent Trump's support at home. And that's why the MAGA movement keep fighting about it. He's already called for Iran's complete surrender, but ironically, a surrender might actually provoke an uprising in Iran, because it would be seen as a humiliation. That's why the regime won't back down. Politics is volatile, the future uncertain, but Iran, home to 90 million people, steeped in history and rich in resources, won't be brought to heel so easily. The longer this war drags on, the deeper its impact will be on the region and the world. Israel and the US want a swift victory, but will they get one? Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Head over to www.lefthorizons.com, sign up to the newsletter and read the full article over there, and we shall see you next time.